Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about people who don't post their photos on social media and what that actually means. And I think this is such an interesting topic because we live in a world where everyone is constantly sharing everything, every meal, every moment, every milestone. But there are people who just don't participate in that. They don't post, they don't share, they stay off the feeds. And somehow, they seem to have more peace, more clarity, and more confidence than everyone else. So if you've ever wondered what's really going on with people who don't post their photos, or if you're someone who doesn't post much yourself and you've been made to feel like something's wrong with you, stick with me. Because I'm going to break down what this behavior actually signals and why it's often a sign of strength, not insecurity. The first thing I want to talk about is that people who don't post their photos don't need external validation, and I think this is huge. When someone doesn't feel the need to document and share every part of their life, it shows that they're secure in themselves. They don't need likes, comments, or approval from strangers to feel good about what they're doing or who they are. Their growth is sacred to them, it's private, it's not something they need to broadcast to the world. They're not ashamed of their life, they're just anchored in it. They validate themselves internally, not externally. And here's the thing. Confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need to perform. It walks into a room quietly, and everyone notices. People who don't post their photos often have that kind of quiet confidence. They like themselves, and they don't need anyone else to like them to feel whole. In a world that's obsessed with external validation, choosing not to participate in that is actually incredibly powerful. It shows that you're not dependent on other people's opinions to feel good about yourself. And that's rare. The second thing is that people who don't post their photos trade attention for peace. And I think this is something that doesn't get talked about enough. In a culture that confuses exposure with connection, these people intentionally opt out. They know that the most important parts of their life don't need to be shared with everyone. They don't want to turn their joy into content for recognition. They protect their peace the way some people protect their image. They understand the cost of constant visibility. Being accessible to everyone all the time is exhausting. It opens you up to judgment, comparison, and unnecessary opinions from people who don't even know you. People who don't post their photos have decided that their peace is more valuable than attention. They'd rather be unseen and grounded than visible and drained. And honestly, that's a level of self-awareness that most people never reach. They're not trying to impress anyone, they're not performing for an audience, they're just living their life on their own terms. And that's incredibly freeing. The third thing is that people who don't post their photos aren't missing out, they're mastering their craft. Silence is often mistaken for absence. But for these people, silence is where the real work is happening. They're creating, building, focusing on who they're becoming, not who they're showing themselves to be. They're not off the grid, they're just on their own path. While everyone else is busy posting about what they're doing, these people are actually doing it. They're not checking in with strangers, they're checking in with themselves. They're not falling behind, they're so much further ahead because they're focused on progress, not performance. Mastery in anything requires undivided attention. And when you're constantly documenting your life for social media, you're splitting your focus. You're living for the post instead of living for the experience. People who don't post their photos understand this. They're not posting about it because they're in it. They're fully present in their own life. And that presence is what allows them to grow, create, and build in ways that people who are constantly distracted by social media never can. The fourth thing is that people who don't post their photos are selective about who gets access to them. And I don't mean this in an antisocial way. I mean they're energetically discerning. They're wise about who they let into their space. They know what happens when you give too many people access to your life, your energy, your nervous system. It drains you. It opens you up to unnecessary drama, opinions, and comparisons. So they move in silence, they share selectively, they speak when it adds value, not when it adds noise. Their privacy is a boundary. And that boundary is what makes their presence so potent when they do choose to show up. These people aren't chasing the pack. They're building their own path. They're not trying to fit in or be liked by everyone. They're focused on the people who actually matter to them. And that selectivity creates deeper, more meaningful connections. Now, I want to address something important here. I'm not saying that posting on social media makes you insecure or that you need to delete all your accounts to be confident. Social media can be a great tool for staying connected, sharing your passions, or building a business. What I am saying is that people who don't post their photos often have a level of self-assurance and peace that's really admirable. They're not hiding, they're not insecure, they've just outgrown the need to be seen by everyone. And if you're someone who doesn't post much, don't let anyone make you feel like something's wrong with you. You're not missing out, you're not antisocial, you're just choosing peace over performance. And that's powerful. The truth is, you don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to be public to be growing. You don't need to be seen by everyone to be significant. The most confident, grounded, and successful people I know are often the ones who share the least. They're too busy building their life to document it for strangers. They're too focused on their own growth to worry about what other people think. So, if you're someone who doesn't post your photos, keep doing what you're doing. Your silence is not weakness, it's strength. Your privacy is not insecurity, it's wisdom. And your peace is more valuable than any amount of likes or followers could ever be. And if you're someone who does post on social media, that's okay too. Just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Are you posting because you genuinely want to share something meaningful, or are you posting because you need validation? Are you living for the experience, or are you living for the post? The key is to be intentional. Don't let social media control your sense of worth. Don't let other people's opinions dictate how you feel about yourself. Focus on building a life that feels good to you, not one that looks good to everyone else. So that's all I have for this one. If you found this helpful or thought-provoking, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Let me know in the comments, do you post your photos on social media? And if not, what's your reason? I'd love to hear your perspective. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.